Yo, what's going on with it, y'all? What's up? What's up, y'all? This is ZQ the Rebel. All right, ZQ the Rebel. And for those of you who know a little bit about me, know that I do security videos. All right, I would consider myself an expert in the security field. I've been doing security for the past 14, 15 years. And throughout that time, I've gained a lot of knowledge. I've gained a lot of um, insight, into the field. Um, my first ever security job is when I turned 21. Um, and I was doing security in a casino, and that opened the doorway to a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying? Learning about security, learning about more importantly in the security field, you want to learn a lot about customer service because that's exactly what security is. Security is customer service. You understand? You want to be able to fulfill the needs of your clients. Um, Also, you have to know how to talk to individuals. You want to know how to de-escalate situations, and so on and so forth. All right. So I've been in the security field about 14 years. Um, Started off with being in security at a casino, and from there I just learned. I've been in. After there, I've done security at clubs, um, to the point where I'm almost getting to shootouts in clubs, bouncers. Um, I've done that. Um, I've done corporate security. I mean, you name it. I mean, I've damn near done it all in the security field. You know, but what's the point of this video I'm making? I'm making for you new security guards out there, or unarmed or armed. I just want to give you some tools. All right, I just want to give you 5 tools that you can use. Put in your duty belt. Something that's going to be useful in that field that I've ran into, and I think that's good to have. All right. What's the first one? I pulled up a little slide right here. That's the first one. First one is flashlight. Now every security guard needs a flashlight. Every security guard, you need to have you a flashlight, especially the ones that work at nighttime. Some of you that's up at night, doing security, flashlight is your best friend. And I found out that when you're looking for something, you didn't drop something on the ground in the grass. Using the flashlight in your camera is not as good as just having an actual flashlight, a battery powered flashlight, or electric powered flashlight. I mean, uh, definitely, especially in low light areas, you definitely flashlight would be useful. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Number two, a two-way radio. Now we know what a two-way radio is used for. It's for used for communications, um, usually short range communications. Nothing more than about a mile or so, maybe less. Um, Essentially, everybody that's working in the same location wants to have a radio, two-way radio. It's an effective communication device. Definitely need it. Definitely need it. You can call for backup. You can call for if there's anything suspicious that you need to investigate it. Having a good, effective radio. And don't get me wrong, don't get none of those cheap radios. The cheap radios that last for about a week or two before it starts falling apart, or you can't hear clearly, the orders, or you can't communicate effectively with the cheap brands. You might have to break your pockets. You might have to spend about $100, $200 for a real good radio. I know some of you look on Amazon and y'all see those radios it's for $20 or $30, and it seems like a good deal. But when it's coming to your security equipment, you do not want to shy away with paying a little bit more money to get a little bit of a better equipment. All right. Next, pepper spray. Now, depending on what your state laws is, in that type of field, would depend on what your state law. Some states you're not allowed to use pepper spray. Some states you can. You want to be careful because pepper spray is non-lethal. but it depends. Some people have allergies, certain allergic reactions to pepper spray, which can cause their throat to close and have respiratory problems. I've seen it happen. Uh, you know, of course, having a pepper spray is non-lethal, a great non-lethal, way of getting a. I don't want to say a perk, but someone that's acting irate. Someone that's acting irate. That's a good way to de-escalate the situation. If words do not work, being in the security field, you want to make sure, above all, above all, is that you want to first talk it out first. You want to de-escalate the situation. Get de-escalation training. You want to be able to use your words to talk an individual down. What we see in the on the news and social media, we see law enforcement. Even though law enforcement have alternatives uh, to to de-escalate the situation properly using non-lethal tactics. A lot of the times we see lethal tactics is being used. Okay, and in the security field, you definitely want to utilize your de-escalation skills. Practice in the mirror, um, practice to friends and family. But getting your, I can only tell you so many times where I've gotten out of a real dicey situation just by using words. I'm talking about in one of my bouncing days in the club. You know, I had it was me. I believe I was in Alabama. I was doing security in Alabama. Um, a famous individual came, right? Um, so after the famous individual came, him and his entourage. They got a booth, and that was just chilling, right? So another group comes in, right? This is just a no-name group. It was a group of about 10 people. They came to try to get a booth, but one of the servers told them that we didn't have no more booths. We was packed. So I guess the group got mad and ended up jumping the server outside. Ended up jumping the server outside, right? So me and my security partner, right? So I'm trying to go through the crowd. I'm trying to rescue the individual. I'm rescue the server because they jumping on her. It's two guys too. It's a total of 8 women and two guys, and they all jumping and stomping on her. So I'm moving everybody out the way, and to get to the server. So I'm grabbing her to protect her because she's getting stumped. My partner, we talk about it till this day. My partner has this club, right? He has this baton, so he just cracking motherfuckers on the head. Bow, bow, bow. I mean, at this point, it's no de-escalation that happened. I mean, y'all is effectively, y'all can potentially unalive this individual. Y'all could potentially unalive this visual. So I think his use of force is proper. So he's hitting people over the head. He's just moving everybody out the way with the baton. Um, ended up hitting this one female in the head. So this one female is the girlfriend of one of the guys that's stumping on the girl. So he hit her in the head. She started bleeding. The guy gets mad. Him and his partner, the other guy, go run to the vehicle to go get Dracos. So we both have our handguns. I go to the car. I get our rifles. So imagine I go through the club because like this happened in the alley. So I go through the club because we parked in the front to go get our rifles, right? So I'm going through the club with two rifles in my hand. I'm talking about, you should have seen it, y'all. Like the whole crowd split like the Red Sea. They get out the way. Ooh, I'm going through there like Rambo. I'm like everybody, they don't know what the hell is going on. The club promoter, he's all nervous. The club owner, he's nervous. So I go I go back to the alley, had my partner his rifle. So we're like at the ready. So we have our getting ready to point, but we're at the low ready. So they get their Dracos out. So they sitting there talking shit, blah 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 blah. But thankfully, no shots was let off. They eventually got inside the car and drove off with his girlfriend that's bleeding at the head. Um, And a few weeks later, what I'm saying, I heard dude came up to my partner and apologized for the instance because that was wrong. Y'all was jumping this server girl, and because she told y'all that there was no boost available. Like, come on, like who does shit like that? Um, but everything was on the up and up. Dude came and apologized, and we moved on. But those are just some instances where sometimes this de-escalation doesn't work, especially when you see someone that's getting beaten to an inch of their life by 10 individuals, getting stumped on, getting whooped on, getting beat on, getting hit on. Sometimes as a security officer or a security guard or whatever you are at the time, you will have to use force. Now you can't use lethal force. You have to apply the same amount of force that's being applied in this situation. And I think my partner using the baton, I think that was an excellent call. So yeah, I don't want to get swayed off into too many, too long of a chat. But all right, pepper spray is an excellent non-lethal tactic, a non-lethal weapon. Law enforcement officers can use it, including security guards, um, especially in the case of violent offenders who pose threat resistance with deadly weapons like knives. Now, if someone is threatening you with a deadly weapon, depending on the type of force, you can use lethal force. Um, really depends on the situation. Like you really have to be restrained. Pepper spray is a good tactic, a good way to get them off you. All right, your duty belt. I think this is one of the most important aspects of being a security guard, and this is one of the most important tools that you need and that you must have. Your duty belt. Your duty belt is a way for you to hold your important equipment. You got your holsters. You have your pepper spray. You have your baton if you're carrying one, or if the site that you're on allows you to carry one. Handcuffs, magazines, two-way radios. Um, like that's the. I mean, if you're a security guard and you don't have a duty belt, I have like 5 or 6 duty belts just sitting around, laying around. Duty belt is essential part of a security guard's uniform. You definitely need that. Definitely need that. Otherwise, people ain't. This is going to take you seriously. You're a security guard and you don't have a duty belt. I mean, come on. It's like you're I don't know if I don't know how to compare that to, but you're naked. Without a duty belt, you are naked. You keep your important equipment on your duty belt, and that way, you can be able to employ what you need to employ um, during, your patrols and stuff like that. All right. So last but not least, body armor. Now, depending on where you're at, location wise, state wise. Some states, I mean, you're mostly. Last time I checked, you are allowed to wear body armor, but depending on who you're hired through, most security jobs, especially unarmed, you don't require to use body armor. Some jobs like working for the city, or they give you like stab vests. You're working with like transit security or something like that. They'll give you like a stab vest. If you're dealing with like people on the buses, or you have to come and get individuals that's getting escorted off the bus or lighted off the bus, um, stuff like that, depending on what the situation is. But if you are a security guard, no matter if you're unarmed or armed, you should have a body armor at the house. You know, uh, you got banks, the security guard that does armed security at banks, or other high risk industries and whatnot. You definitely need body armor for protection. Um, so of course, that's self explanatory. Whether you use the body armor at your on your patrols or at your job or whatever, that goes with the company. It depends on what your company. But I have body armor at home, just in case. I'd rather have it and to not have it. But I think every security guard, unarmed or armed, y'all should have body armor you know, inside, as one of your tools. All right. So, this is just a few tips and some useful tools in the field of security. You know, definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Definitely I'm active. I told you guys I was gonna get active. Once everything simmered down in my life, I'm getting right back to streaming, and this is where it begins. I want to appreciate you guys too for tuning in, and I appreciate all of my followers and my subscribers. Y'all guys have been there from day one. Appreciate you, y'all. All right, that's it, y'all. This is EQ the Rebel. Tune in. I got gameplay coming in. Right now I'm actively playing this game called Humana Z, so I'm doing episodes. Check those out as well. All right. Or if you got any comments, questions, or concerns, by email, you have my email, or you can comment, and I'll actively respond to all the comments. With that being said, y'all, peace.